Hey everybody, what's up, and welcome back to another video. Sorry about the audio on this one. If the audio is a little bit bad, I'm actually on my break at work right now. I'm sitting in my car recording this, sitting next to a stinky dumpster. So yeah, there's that. Awesome, right? Anyhow, today I'm going to be making this cold process chamomile and honey soap. I think this one ended up turning out really well. This is the first time I've used honey in a recipe in a really long time, so I'm glad that everything kind of went according to plan. The first thing I did, I wanted to make sure that I infused both my carrier oil and my distilled water for my lye water with chamomile. I just used a chamomile tea bag. This is my test batch. I didn't want to use up all my good garden chamomile for this. So all I did was I heated my oils really well. I kind of hot processed the oil, the infusion. And then I also heated up the distilled water and kind of just brewed a nice chamomile tea, but not for drinking. Anyhow, before I mixed the lye into my chamomile tea, I made sure I took the tea bag out, and I also made sure that the chamomile tea was at room temperature, because adding that lye is just going to make things hotter. And there's no sense in jacking the temperatures way up, so I just made sure that it was completely cooled down to room temperature before I added the lye. As always, this is not a tutorial. I just like to show people how I do this. If you make soap also, maybe it'll be helpful. If you've never made cold process soap before, I definitely encourage you guys to find a class locally or something, because it can be tricky, and there are some parts you got to be careful with. And I definitely don't feel like I'm qualified enough to teach anybody how to do it, that's for sure. So just always be safe. That's my spiel there, I always say. But anyhow, after I had mixed my lye, I had my oils here. I'm soaping at about 95 degrees Fahrenheit. Since I am adding honey, I'm going to make sure this stays nice and cool. I don't want any kind of soap volcanoes or anything like that. Sugar is one of those things that can really, really, really heat up a batch of soap if you're not careful. So I wanted to make sure that wasn't going to be a problem. Anyhow, I added my lye solution to my oils and just started to pulse it with my stick blender. And I decided I think I wanted to do a kind of a 3-color swirl for this one. I'm using yellow oxide. I am using the Gold Dust Mineral Glitter from Nurture Soap. And I wanted to just leave the batter, the soap batter, natural color the last time. I didn't add anything to the last one. So the yellow oxide looked really great. I love this nice earthy yellow color. And in terms of the Gold Dust Mica, I didn't read the instructions. It clearly says on there 2 to 3 teaspoons of the powder per pound of soap. I only used 1 teaspoon. It was clearly not enough. So I ended up with this just light, I don't know what color you'd call it, just a light yellow color with a little bit of sparkle in it. The sparkle does show up, which is awesome, but I didn't use enough in this test batch. I've made about 4 batches of this since I made this, and it went much better adding more to it. So there's that to keep in mind if you're using this Gold Dust Mica or glitter powder or whatever it's called. Anyhow, I just divided out my colors and mixed them up nice. I added my fragrance oil. For this batch, I am using pure honey from Brambleberry. I'd read up on it, read all the reviews, and made sure that acceleration wasn't going to be an issue. This one behaved really well, no ricing, no anything. Out of the bottle, this is a very, very strong honey fragrance, like raw honey. It smells just like it, it's beautiful. It's very strong, very in your face. I feel like, when I first opened it, it's like somebody kicked me in the face. But I will say that so far, it has seriously mellowed out big time. I used this fragrance oil at 5%, and it's just a very subtle scent now. So I'm kind of disappointed in that aspect, but this is a nice kind of smell for people who don't like smells maybe as much. After I divided up my colors and added my fragrances, I just went ahead and added some honey, and wouldn't you know, my camera turned off, and I didn't get this on video. I didn't record this. You would think by now, I'm like 400 videos deep, you would think by now I would be better at recording videos, but nope, I'm still the same, don't know what I'm doing mess. So there's that. Anyway, honey in general will speed up things quite a bit. It wasn't too bad in this, but I did notice this one batch with the Gold Dust Mica in it. For whatever reason, it acted like it was going to try to like seize. But it didn't seize. It was just like individual pockets of the batter were seizing. It wasn't rising or anything crazy. I don't know. I'm not the most experienced soaper, but I've made enough batches to know it's kind of weird. I'm not quite sure what happened with the test batch. The other batches of soap that I made did not do it, so I don't really know what happened. Maybe it got too hot. I don't know. You can see here in a second when I pour, there's like a lump of hardened soap that plops into the mold, and that's not attractive. But it turned out fine otherwise. I don't know. It was one of those weird things that happened. Anyhow, I just kind of did an end of pot swirl. I just dropped the different colors into my big pot and put it down in my mold and poured it out. I lined the mold with some bubble wrap. I wanted to do the whole like faux honeycomb type thing. I always see people who only do that on the top of their soap, and I was like, no, I want this whole thing to look like that. So I did it with the whole thing, and then I covered it up on the top a little bit also. Kind of did some swooshing around with it. I'm not very good at making artistic looking soap tops. I know some people are really gifted and talented and got like crazy skills and can pipe, but I'm not one of those people. So I just do the best I can. Added a little bit of chamomile, and it turned out pretty good. Now what I did, since this was a honey soap, I put this straight into the empty fridge downstairs to make sure it wasn't going to overheat. Didn't have any problems when I unmolded it. Things went really good, really great, really satisfied with how it turned out. Added a little bit of that gold dust mineral glitter on top to give it some shine, and I'm just so happy with these. Overall, I do wish the fragrance was a little bit stronger, but, it is good to have options for people who don't like that, in-your-face smell. So I'm happy with how these turned out. Hopefully you guys liked this video. If you did, be sure to subscribe. I would absolutely love to have you making new videos on the regular. You can also hit the notification button, and it will tell you when I put a new video up. Sorry again about this audio. I'm not sure how bad it's sounding right now. Hopefully it's not too terrible, but this is honestly the only downtime I've had to actually just sit down and, make the audio for this video. Hopefully I'll be able to get it edited in the next day or so. Hope y'all are having a real great day, and I'll talk to y'all later.